Number three. Yes, I didn't. Hey, I don't know. It's still going. Still going. And I wanted to start out today by saying a little something I was thinking about last night. I took a little bit of an edible, and and I started thinking that when you have a lot of hope, you want to give a lot more. And when you do things from the perspective of wanting to give, what you do will be better. So remember that on the next project that you do. Don't be so self serving. Try and help someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, the void gives me a lot of hope. And with that, good morning or afternoon or day or whatever time it is for you. It is around 2:25 p.m. for me here. And yeah, we're going again. I wanted to do this actually way earlier. I thought I had a vision in my head, waking up around 6 a.m., having that morning voice, and just sitting down and powering this thing out. But it didn't happen that way. I slept in a little bit, but I deserve it, and it's okay. So for breakfast, I had a little bit of leftover Chipotle because it was like 10 a.m. when I woke up. So it was tasty. It was tasty. I want to talk about dieting and my modified diet because things haven't changed, but recently whoa, man, I'm having a hard time here. Holy shit. I got to slow it down. I had a little bit of jasmine tea and all of a sudden I can't speak. Oh, gotta compose. Yeah, I want to talk about my modified diet. I'm not allowed to have a lot of fibrous stuff, so it's kind of been interesting trying to change what I'm eating, but it's hard. It's really hard. So if anyone else out there is going through having had their diet changed for reasons out of their own control, I sympathize. I really do. So I'm not allowed to have vegetables because I guess they're high in fiber, and all of this is because I guess where my tumor is sitting is in such a position that it's pushing on my colon. And because it's pushing on the colon, there's a risk of me getting a little bit backed up, if you know what I mean. So I'm on laxatives and stool softeners, which reminds me I gotta go and take one after this. But I'm on laxatives, and you know what? Here's the thing with what they don't tell you about laxatives: they don't always work immediately. It takes some time. So it's kind of like if you're eating like a weed edible, it doesn't always work as soon as you take it. You know, it's got to stew, it's got to do its thing. Half an hour later, you're tripping balls. Kind of the same thing with laxatives, except it's like 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes it's all night for me. I'll take a laxative like in the middle of the day. I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and then it hits me. Super inconvenient sometimes because I got plans. I got things I want to do. And then the laxative hits, and you know what? There's only one thing you're going to be doing from that point on. That's pooping. So the modified diet's been difficult. It's been hard to kind of stay away from certain foods that I shouldn't be having. And yeah, it's just been a real pain in the ass. Originally, when we were first finding out what was happening with me and what kind of cancer it was, I they had said that there's a mass in my anus. So I was under the assumption that whatever this thing was actually inside the colon. I thought it might have been colon cancer. But no, actually, as it turns out, the tumor is just in my lower abdominal area and it's just pushing against the colon. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know. But that's just the way it is. Something else that I've wanted to discuss was hyper awareness of my body ever since the diagnosis and my insides. Like I will be just kind of relaxing and I will feel things and I'm like trying to pinpoint where it is. Like, oh man, I'm feeling something kind of strange. Is that in my liver? Is that in my kidney? What is that? Where is it? And it kind of creates this anxiety about what's going on inside of my body. So I'm curious if other people out there have that same kind of sensation. If anytime they're feeling something moving or feeling like a burning or I don't know. Do you also get anxious about where it is and what's happening? I'm sure it probably happens for a lot of people. But I don't know. General like soreness and aches and pains are pretty common. And I have to get what's called like a white blood cell shot. It's like an infusion. I get it at the infusion center when I'm done with chemotherapy. And the strangest thing happens with that. I take Claritin for it. They say if you take this Claritin, and that's allergy medicine, by the way, for those who don't know. They say if you take this Claritin pill, it helps. And that's something that I like. Who would have thought, right? But they say it helps, and it kind of does. I don't know. I'm not. It's not like I'm not going to be taking it. They say to take it, you take it. I'm going back to the hospital tomorrow, and something that's been super important for me is keeping cool. When you know that you're going back to the hospital and you know that it's going to suck and it's going to take days. Because my treatment schedule right now is I got 3 days in the hospital, 2 weeks out, 5 days in the hospital, and then 2 more weeks out. And it's that same cycle over and over and over again because I'm on 2 alternating types of chemotherapy. So it kind of, when I'm with the 5 days is a long time at the hospital. Nobody wants to be in the hospital for even 1 day. But then when you're there for 5 days, it's kind of like, oh man, this is something different. I'm not liking this too much. I will tell you though, Stanford has amazing food. Their food in the hospital is, I mean, it's top shelf. It's super good. I get the French toast in the mornings. It's like being at Sutter Street Grill on a Monday morning. It's like not a lot of people there. The smell, the bacon, the grease, man, it's delicious. For those who don't know what Sutter Street Grill is, it's one of the best restaurants to have ever existed in the Sacramento area. But something happened called COVID, and they shut down, and we lost probably 50 years worth of history in one fell swoop. It was a super unfortunate thing to lose Sutter Street Grill. I mean, my grandpa used to go there all the time. He would like talk to the people working there in Spanish, and it was always, I don't know, it's like a childhood memory spot. It was always there. And then now it's gone, and it's just things don't feel the same. A lot of strange things have happened in the past few years, and that's being one of them. Losing Sutter Street Grill. Who would have thought? God damn. I'll tell you one thing that does suck about getting my care at Stanford is that Bay Area traffic. I cannot stress enough that traffic is like the bane of my existence, especially when I'm leaving the hospital. Because when I'm leaving the hospital, I feel like shit. I don't want to be stuck in traffic. It takes 4 hours to get home sometimes because the traffic's so bad. I pity the people that live in the Bay Area when it comes to traffic. I think that would just, having to deal with that, I don't know if I could do it. So yeah, just trying to manage the stress when it goes back to, when it comes to me going back to the hospital has been something I've been working on. I mean, knowing that I'm going to be spending the next few days there on chemo, it's heavy stuff. Nobody wants to be really thinking about that. So how do I manage that? Well, this has been helping actually, and that's why I wanted to mention that to all the people who've been listening to The Void recently, shout out to you, because I mean, man, it's been a great distraction from all the craziness that's been happening, and it's been something that's really helpful. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's strange times, but having something to do, having something like a hobby, something to keep you busy, that's super important these days. And I think a lot of people would benefit from kind of picking a hobby, picking something new, picking something to try out and experiment with. And for me, it's been this. And I said it before and I'll say it again, but I just really appreciate the 5 of you out there that are consistently listening to it. It does mean a lot, and it's been great. And I think today's episode is going to be really short just because of going back to the hospital and dealing with all that stuff. It's been a little bit of a busy morning for me, but I did go back to one of my favorite tea and coffee shops for a little bit of tea before this to kind of give myself a little bit of energy, but energy's going quick. I think it's the before the hospital shakes. I don't know about anyone else, but when it's like the day before the hospital, you're trying to stay positive. You're trying to keep yourself distracted, but you know that tomorrow it's not going to be a fun day because, hey, you got to commute. You got to go sit in that Bay Area traffic, and then you got to get admitted, which is a pain in the ass. They got to do a COVID test. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then later in that evening, chemo. Back on the chemo. So I've got a port in me right now. It's a PICC line in my right arm. I don't know how many of you listening have one of those, but basically what it is, it's a catheter that's been inserted into your arm, and it's kind of permanent. It's in there for months at a time. I've had it for, gosh, almost about a month now. I'm about to hit that month anniversary. Let's go. And it's really interesting because it's pain free. I don't feel any pain, but there it is. It's in my arm right now. You can't see it, but I'm looking right at it. Basically what it does is it makes your life a hell of a lot easier when you're on chemo, because instead of having to get an IV each time you go to the hospital, you'll already have the line directly into your system there. It's accessible, and the doctors can very easily hook you up to the chemo bags. And even though it's kind of freaky and I don't like looking at it, it does make your life a lot easier, and it's something that I'm pretty grateful to actually have. I think that's an example of modern medicine just being so cool. It's like I'm like the $6 million man. I've got something that's not me attached to me. I don't know. Maybe I should name it. If anyone has any name suggestions for the PICC line, let me know. It beats a port. I really didn't want to have to get a port. Or sorry, is it a port? PICC port? There's something else. There's one where it's connected to your chest. And I didn't really want that one. I thought, man, that would make showering kind of difficult. I mean, how do you shower with that thing in your chest? I don't know. With the arm, I shower with like a little, like basically a trash bag. It's a little more advanced than that, but it's basically a trash bag that's connected from my wrist all the way up to the shoulder, and it's waterproof, and it keeps me good. So far, I've had no leaks, so that's positive. I've been drinking these shakes, man. These Ensure shakes. They started out really good. Look, when I was in the hospital the first time, they gave me this Ensure shake, and they were like, drink this. It's got vitamins. It'll be good for you. You should try it. It was like a chocolate shake, and I tried it, and it was like, whoa, this isn't too bad. Because, you're at the hospital. Most of the things that they give you, they either taste terrible or they hurt, they sting. You're stuck in the hospital. No matter what they give you, it's not going to be great. Except the French toast. But anyway, I digress. Not you. What am I saying? Being so commanding like this. If you try an Ensure shake, you'll see what I mean. The first sip is amazing. And then you continue on and you're kind of like, it's pretty good. And then by the time you get to the bottom of the glass, it's like, it's lost all of its punch. It's lost all of its anything that might have been good about it. It's just gone. And I swear there's something like flaky in there. I feel like I can feel some things like in my mouth when I'm drinking these Ensure shakes. I don't know. I do think that Ensure shakes are the best out of all the shakes. This is just so Ensure doesn't get a little upset. But I do think that the Ensure shakes are pretty decent compared to the rest of the lineup. But I don't know. Maybe I've just had too much of them. I think they're starting to lose their luster for me. It's tough when you've had like 50 of them to want to go back for more. You know what I mean? The strawberry is pretty good. It kind of tastes like a strawberry milkshake. I think strawberry and chocolate are the two ones to go for. The vanilla, forget about it. Don't even bother. It's just kind of doo-doo. But I can't eat vegetables right now because of the fiber. I think I mentioned that. But you know what? Sometimes I crave some jalapenos. I had a jalapeno bagel sandwich with scrambled eggs and turkey from a local deli and bagel place called Posh Bagel. It's in the Sacramento area, and it was so good. But let me tell you one thing: is I did not need the laxatives that day that I had that. That thing came right out. But it was delicious. So sometimes it's difficult sticking to the diet, and sometimes I get off of it and do things I'm maybe not supposed to do. And the way I justify it is sometimes you gotta treat yourself. And I decided to treat myself to a little bit of jalapenos. And the good thing about it was that they were a little soft. They had been pre-cooked, So it wasn't like I was just eating a raw vegetable because that's definitely a big no-no. Anything that could potentially block me up, I'm not supposed to be eating, so I try and stick away. But like I said, sometimes you just gotta give yourself a break. You gotta do something good for you. You know what I mean? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna end it. I think this is it. It's a short one today. I'm sorry about that. Look, it's the hospital tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be doing more throughout the week, so it's okay. All right, take care of yourself, friends, family. Enjoy the day. Bye.